The fact that he said why do I have to have my headlights on? The officer said the law says when it's raining or falling,
Everything nice, everything new, everything nice.
while black. And the fact that this young man, William McNeil, through him having the foresight to record the interaction with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, we got to see firsthand and hear firsthand and put it all in context what driving while black is in America that happens every day. The fact that William McNeil, as Attorney Daniels and I discussed, never lost his composure. He was always calm. He followed the teachings of his parents to always show your hands, don't be aggressive, be respectful. And William did all of that, and we witnessed it and heard it with our ears. You can believe your eyes, you can believe your ears. The fact that we know it was driving while black because William said, "Why are you stopping me?" And the officer told him, "Well, you don't have your headlights on," even though it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight. The fact that he said, "Why do I have to have my headlights on?" The officer said, the law says when it's raining or foggy, you have to have your headlights on. It was clear from the video. It wasn't any kind of inclement weather. So William knew that the officer was not being truthful. And so he exercised his rights as an American citizen, and he said, "I want to speak to your supervisor." He had what Attorney Daniels and I have articulated as a 21st century Rosa Parks moment. Black Americans get tired of having their civil rights and their constitutional rights disrespected over and over again. So that day, William said, "I want to speak to your supervisor." And when he said that, you see from the video the response from these officers that were violating his Fourth Amendment constitutional rights against unlawful searches and seizures. And they shattered his window and they beat him and brutalized him. And even when he was handcuffed, they repeatedly slammed his head to the concrete. Attorney Daniels is certainly going to go into more detail about his medical conditions and the psychological trauma he's having. But before we do that, we want to introduce you to our legal team. Attorney Harry Daniels is the person who has convened all of us to champion the cause for justice. We've worked on cases all across America. Attorney Sue Ann Robinson is going to be working with Attorney Daniels on filing all the legal motions that we feel must be filed to get justice for William McDaniels and to let the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office know that they cannot condone this. They cannot justify this. They must condemn this. They must say that this does not represent our training, our policies, or our values. And they should terminate this officer immediately. And if they don't, then that would be a basis for the litigation that Attorney Daniels and I intend to file. Along with Attorney Robinson and Attorney Daniels, we are very proud to have one of the pioneering trailblazers in the field of police unjustified force and brutality. And that is John Barris, who represented Rodney King. And Attorney Daniels is going to tell you why we feel that is so significant as well. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge this great black mother who obviously was just heartbroken and emotional when she saw the video. Miss Solomon thought thank God my son didn't become like Trayvon Martin or George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery and become the next hashtag. Thank God. And so after you hear from the attorneys and the breaking news, we will have you hear from William McNeil Jr. and Ms. Solomon, if she's so inclined to address you. And after that, we will take your questions. But as we're about to go into detail, and Attorney Judge, why don't you get the exhibit list? Go ahead. Because William said that they pulled a gun on him. Remember, this is for him not having a headlight. And Attorney Daniels and Attorney Robinson, our legal team, we knew that we were going to have to provide irrefutable evidence because the Sheriff's Department was silent on that. They only released videos that they didn't try to corroborate. They tried to explain away what happened. But because we have a good legal team working and Mr. Daniels is going to go into this. Here, you got that right there. It is clear that William McNeil Jr. was not lying when he said the police had him at gunpoint. We know there are other videos that existed, right, Attorney Daniels, that we do not have. And we don't think this is the only officer who drew his gun on this unarmed young black man who, look at the video, he never escalated anything. He was never violent. He's a college student. He's never been convicted of anything. He's never even been arrested of anything. But yet, he was treated like a hardened criminal the way they brutalized him. And so at this time, I'm going to have my great co-counsel, Attorney Harry Daniels, talk to you about what this means and how significant of a development this is as we prepare to explore every legal remedy to get justice for William McNeil Jr. And I know him and Attorney Robinson have been working hard, getting ready to file the legal documentation. Attorney Daniels.
Thank you, Attorney Crump. You know, at the beginning of this case, when we were retained by William, you know, we asked the question, why didn't you get out of the vehicle? Well, first of all, being stopped and being told that you've been pulled over because you didn't have headlights on in the daytime and being told it's raining when a drop is not falling from the sky should give you suspicions at the beginning. To see an officer put his hands on his weapon when you know you didn't violate a traffic violation, give you hesitation. But to be held at gunpoint, for a civil infraction, that's an infraction where you just only pay a fine, $15 at most, to be held at gunpoint. You know,